You're on ABC Radio Sydney. It's 21 minutes to 8. Good to be with you here this morning. Now, we've been getting you to comment on use of Snap, Send and Solve. This is an app which you can walk along, take a photo of a broken footpath, it'll go to the right council. For quite a few people saying already, works really well. And if you've got any further reports, if you've used it, any other reports that you've got on our footpaths in particular, let us know. 0467 922 702. Latest data from the app suggests that complaints from Sydney's western suburbs have soared nearly 30%. Danny Gorog, CEO and founder of Snap Send Solve, joins us this morning. Morning, Danny.
Hi, James. How are you?
Now, is that just increased use or increased problems?
It's a little bit of both, but that 30% is about sort of double of what we're seeing in terms of overall usage in New South Wales. And that number that we provided to the Sydney Morning Herald is actually only part of the problem. We capture, that's an incident type. We've got a category called pavement and footpath, and in that there are a range of different incident types. And I was actually just having a look. One of the big issues we see is issues with telco pits, Telstra, Optus, NBN pits in the street. And we've had a huge increase in those numbers. We've had nearly 10,000 in New South Wales, 10,000 reports, which is up, more than 30% year on year.
And what's the report? That there is a pit, or the pit's been left open, or what's
there is a pit. The pit's broken. The pit's cracked. The pit's got just a big gaping hole in it. There can be a variety of issues, and I guess with the beauty of Snap Send Solve, we'll send that to the right telco as the user selects it.
Right, and so then you're waiting on the telco to come and deal with it. What people seem to be saying to us is the councils are pretty good to respond, pretty quick to respond.
The council's actually amazing to respond. That's the beauty of it. I was also looking at the stats. We ask our snappers 2 weeks after they submit the report to let us know whether the issue got solved. And what do you think the solve rate is on just the pavement damage category?
Are you asking me to guess?
I'm asking you to tell me.
What is the solve rate on Sydney footpaths from councils? Is that the question?
Yep.
And the length of time?
No, we ask it 2 weeks after the
Okay, solve rate, I'm going to say 87%.
Well, that's pretty close, 90.7.
90.7. That is very good, really. It's
it's actually it's an incredible number, and I think it shows the effectiveness of Snap Send Solve, and also the way that councils respond when they get the right information, when they get the photo and the geolocation, they can just go and have a look at it and make sure it's rectified as quickly as they can.
Yeah. It's very interesting, isn't it? Because we think about all the things we complain about all the time, but here's something that's really working.
Correct, 100%. And I think it gives the community a sense of agency. Normally you feel a little bit helpless when you walk past these issues and you can't do anything about them. But with Snap Send Solve in your pocket, you can see an issue, whatever it is, and we're talking about pavement and footpath, but of course we let people report abandoned trolleys and dump rubbish and graffiti, all sorts of things. Yeah. And you literally within 30 seconds you can report this issue to the right authority, the right solver, and get it resolved.
And so what's the solve rate then with things like telcos?
It's also very high. In general, most of the incident types sit above 90% in terms of solve rates. There are some that are a little bit lower, like illegal parking, which are a bit harder for the councils to deal with because they have to be dealt with pretty quickly. We do have some councils who deal with it very quickly. But overall, the satisfaction is great. And I think that's why Snap Send Solve is kind of taking off, because people just hear about it through word of mouth. And they're like, this is a really, really easy way to kind of be empowered in the community.
Sally, what do you use it for?
Hi, James. Mostly shopping trolleys. And yesterday I used it for a Woolworths trolley and trees overhanging, trying to get out of our road. This tree's affecting the vision getting out onto the main road. So I sent one off to get that pruned, but it just works so well.
Yeah, terrific. Sally, thanks for that. Danny, it's a business. How do you make your money?
Yeah, so we have. Our business model is really interesting. It's a freemium service, so we send reports to all the councils, all the different solvers in the community, in the network, and some solvers who want to kind of act faster, who want to integrate our reports into their workflow, can subscribe and they get to use our API. So we've got we've got some metro councils that are receiving tens of thousands of reports a year.
Right.
And when they integrate with our API, they can improve the speed of response much faster. So what we're seeing is councils who integrate can, shave off 3 or 4 days from the resolution time.
Right.
So it just means the community has a quicker response. There are a whole heap of other things we do. In Melbourne, we've got some councils now putting QR codes up on public toilets and rubbish bins and water fountains for an even easier response rate. But our big challenge is getting the community to know that they can have this app and they can be empowered and they can get stuff fixed. And then we work with the councils to make sure that all the information they get is as accurate and as kind of timely as possible. And the whole thing just works really well. And I'll say one other thing. In the back end, if you send the report to the wrong solver, we've got this reassign tool, which is free. So the reassign tool lets the solver, who knows whose problem it is, send it to the correct solver if we get it wrong.
Right.
And the snapper gets informed the whole way through.
Danny Gorrick is the CEO of Snap, Send and Solve, obviously enthusiastic about it. Danny, we started about why complaints have gone up. Why have complaints gone up?
Oh, I think there's a mix of more people finding out about Snaps and Solve, and there's just more stuff happening on the footpath. We've got obviously shopping trolleys. We've got abandoned scooters. We see lots of e-scooters and e-bikes just kind of lying on the footpath. We've got overgrown vegetation. We've got trees that are getting older and roots are kind of pushing up footpaths. So there's a range of reasons why this is happening. And I think, people notice this stuff more. They're out and about working from home more. They're doing more local walks. Dog ownership's up, et cetera, et cetera. So there's just growing use of the footpaths. And I think, in the article in the Sydney Morning Herald, there was this talk about, councils need to prioritise footpaths as they do roads. And I think that's valid.
Yeah.